Legendary Hero Myrrh. And, oh my goodness. Wait, these stats, they're kind of insane. 40 HP, 39 attack, 25 speed. That is a very Myrrh stat line. I did say I expected her to hit 30 speed with her weapon, and because she's -5 all stats, she does in fact hit 30 speed. Okay. 42 defense and 36 res. Her attack is lower than I expected. Okay, super boons in attack, speed, and res, and then super bane in HP. So 29 speed. A lot of the Myrrhs actually had super boons and speeds, did she not? So makes sense for them to go back to that. But more importantly, a super boon in res is probably your best stat. She no longer relies on her defense to create effects. She doesn't have those conditions anymore as past Myrrhs did, right? Base Myrrh needed to out-defense her opponent to prevent them from doubling. Halloween Myrrh needed to out-defense her opponent to auto-double, but she is no longer like that. Instead, she wants more res for the Dragon Ball in her B slot. But for those who forgot her kit, let's see. I think my favorite thing about her, aside from the fact that she is probably among the top 3 flying tanks in the entire game, outside of that, masterful art style. It's so glorious. The lighting effects, her expression. This guy is new to Fire Emblem Heroes artistry, isn't he? Esu? Anyways, quick recap. Godly Breath is really good. Slaying ability, all stats -5 on her opponents. Auto doubles, and am I missing a thing? Oh yeah, 30% damage reduction. It's a really, really good weapon. It's nothing crazy or insane. It actually gets you everything you're looking for nowadays from a weapon, I guess. Yeah, extra stats, damage reduction, slaying, auto doubles. That's basically everything you're looking for. Anyways, specialist bonfire, which makes sense considering she has 42 defense and 36 res. Defense res unity is nice to have. Dragon Ball is nice to have. Darkling Guardian is especially nice. Defense res +6. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack. And Warp Bubble is created, which is basically the gatekeeper effect of heroes unable to warp near 4 spaces of her. Anyways, more importantly, defense res +6 and foe cannot make a fall attack means her base defense is actually kind of immaculate at 48. And then with defense res unity and godly breath, it acts as way more than that. Whereas her res is 42 base, and because of godly breath and defense res unity, it is acts as way more than that. So she has essentially 47 res basically guaranteed at all times. You can't debuff her because she has defense res unity. The one thing that really irks me about her is that she has no disencounter. If she had disencounter, I think that would be awesome. She'd be really devastating if she had disencounter. Anyways, you could kill Legendary Fae, give her Fae's A slot, which is DC and res +5. It helps out the Dragon Wall. But the thing with her is that she's a really good dual phase hero. People forget this and look at her way too defensively, but she gets to auto double. Yeah. She gets to auto double. And that auto double is when she initiates or is within 2 spaces of an ally. So it works both ways. So she can do it offensively or defensively. So you don't have to use defense res unity. All the other unities are also good. But defense res unity makes her the hardest one to kill. And because she has double damage reduction and really high inherent defense and res stats, she's going to take most hits and be fine with it. I think somebody calced it out yesterday. If you get full Dragon Wall and Godly Breath's 30% and you add it together, yeah, it's additive, it becomes 58% damage reduction. So essentially she has like Medeus levels of damage reduction. And while she doesn't have as much BSD as Medeus, she does get pretty damn close because she's so focused. But yeah, she's basically a flying Medeus in a way. And just like Medeus, she's very scary up close. Anyways, a really, really great hero that you wouldn't really touch the kid of. Now my question is, how many of you guys are gonna go for her? I'm gonna poll. But not in particular for Myrrh, because I think for Blue, it's just really, really strong. Legendary Byleth, female is really good. Myrrh's obviously really good. Oh yeah, Caeda. Caeda's also really, really good. Yeah, there's that. And then for Colorless, Claude is also there. And Joshua's also there, and Bramimond's also there. So I think there's half the heroes, or at least 2 of the 4 colors are really, really strong. I also like green, but green for a lot of people will be a lot more divisive. So I think the banner is like worthy of being pulled on if you like Myrrh or you like a lot of the other heroes available. 36 res is kind of low for Dragon Ball IMO. No, it's not actually 36 res. Don't get fooled. Defense res unity adds 5. Her buffing adds 6. Her A slot drops your opponent's res by 5. So 5 plus 5 plus 6, that's 16 extra res. She's 52 res essentially, so don't get fooled. Anyways, let's go back to the focal point, which is about Myrrh, and let's do some comparisons with her. Of course, the best hero to start it off with is, of course, Myrrh. It's only fair, considering that's the base Myrrh. Oh, right, so let's... It's actually kind of incredible that base Myrrh has more HP despite being so much older. 42 HP versus 40 HP, 2-point advantage for old Myrrh, 33 attack versus 39 attack, 6-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, 25 speed versus 25 speed, match. That's why I said Legendary Myrrh has just the Myrrh stat line. 36 defense versus 42 defense, 6-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, and then 31 res versus 36 res, 5-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh. Legendary Myrrh is actually really well min-maxed. 2 less HP, but 6 more attack, same speed, 6 more defense, and 5 more res. All her extra BST basically went into those stats. I believe she was a flying trainee dragon, right? Anyways, excellent. Like, you can see where they derived her from. She's just a much better base Myrrh. This Myrrh is actually still a really good one. As a savior hero especially, with Hardy Fighter, excellent, excellent. I love Halloween Myrrh. Despite looking so cute and being so tiny, she's actually one of the best close save heroes in the entire game, and people get caught off guard by her a lot, but yeah. Excellent hero. Anyways, Halloween Myrrh has 46 HP versus 40 HP, 6-point advantage for Halloween Myrrh, 38 attack versus 39 attack, 1-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, 23 speed versus 25 speed. That's so close. 2-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, 40 defense versus 42 defense. Wow. Now, Halloween Myrrh does have a refine, and is a really good refine, and she has 70% damage reduction after the first shot, and her first shot, if you do Hardy Fighter X Aegis or something, you'll be fine anyways. Or Pavise, sorry. Halloween Myrrh will have more defense overall because of her weapon ability. Her breaths refine. But Legendary Myrrh does beat her at base by 2. 32 res versus 36 res and 4-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, which makes a lot of sense because she's supposed to be using Dragon Wall. Anyways, that is pretty interesting because essentially Legendary Myrrh has more stats outside of HP on everything. Wow, that's pretty nutty. Now, the most recent Myrrh, but wow, really, this is power creep. All right, 40 HP versus 40 HP match. 38 attack versus 39 attack. Legendary Myrrh up by 1. 25 speed versus 25 speed match. That's Myrrh's IVs after all. 40 defense versus 42 defense. 2-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh. And then 35 res versus 36 res. 1-point advantage for Legendary Myrrh. Legendary Myrrh is just better in every single way. Now, she is blue versus Colorless, but Legendary Myrrh's weapon ability is much better. She's also a dual phaser. Her kit is also a lot more complete and a lot more unique and a lot more harder to replace and more useful for most teams. So, big fan of the new Myrrh, whereas the old school Myrrh, not so much. So, I think it's very clear cut. Legendary Myrrh is probably the second best Myrrh. I still think Halloween Myrrh is better. Just because Halloween Myrrh savior skills are really good, huh? Alright, but aside from that, let's do comparison against March 2021. So yeah, it's been a while since Harmonic Myrrh has come out. But in 1 year, completely power creep. Almost, virtually. Alright, Childlike Dragon Fae versus Guardian Dragon Myrrh. It blows my mind that the 3 Kiddo Dragons, Legendary Tiki, Legendary Fae, and Legendary Myrrh, they're all blue dragons. But yeah, let's do a comparison here because I think this one's interesting. I think Legendary Fae is kind of crummy. I think she's just really good as fodder. I really value her A slot, which is... This is Sans. But I really value her A slot, but that's about it. Alright. 40 HP versus 40 HP match. 42 attack versus 39 attack. 3-point advantage for Fae. 28 speed versus 25 speed. 3-point advantage for Fae. 37 defense versus 42 defense. 5-point advantage for Myrrh. 41 res versus 36 res. 5-point advantage for Fae. Now, Fae is infantry and does have a stat advantage, I believe. Yeah, she does. But honestly, I think Myrrh is a better hero. The auto doubles makes her scary. Fae is just kind of annoying to kill because she has life unending. But Myrrh can threaten you. Keep in mind, because Myrrh is a dragon, so she targets lower defense or res, and she attacks magically. She attacks your res. So most infantry heroes and most heroes up close have higher defense than res. So Myrrh has a slight advantage in terms of getting the better matchup against defensive stats. And then, of course, if they're a ranged hero, she automatically targets lower defense than res thanks to her breath. Not just that, her breath is 16 might, and you're all stats -5. So that is 21 extra attack. She has 60 attack essentially at base. Not crazy good, but you gotta remember she has slaying. So she attacks, they attack, and then she bonfires. So with that, all of that in mind, she is actually pretty deadly. Her bonfire is especially good because if you have Unity and you have your C slot that's plus 11 defense and you would hit 53 defense, that'd be a 26 point damage bonfire. So I think Myrrh is not a joke, but she's definitely not necessary. Recently, we just got two top tier dragons. First of all, Fallen Rhea, Immaculate One Rhea has 46 HP versus 40 HP, 6 point advantage for Rhea. 43 attack versus 39 attack, 4 point advantage for Rhea. 18 speed versus 25 speed. Now, some people like having like around 30 speed. Myrrh with her weapon will drop 5 on her opponent, but I honestly don't value middling speed a lot. It's more for killing like fallen Edelgards or whatnot, which is whatever. Anyways, 7 point advantage for Legendary Myrrh, but that's not really advantage because 4 defense versus 42 defense, 2 point advantage for Myrrh, and then 43 res versus 36 res, 7 point advantage for Rhea. Rhea is just a much better unit, I would say. If you far save her, she's amazing. If you close save her, she's amazing. She comes to close save. Either one is fine on her. She's just really, really good as a saver unit. And nowadays, it's really hard to use a unit like Myrrh because without DC, characters will just come in and attack her and back off into savior range if you're talking about summoner duels. And in Ether Raids, even if you want to use her, if you go up against a Cavline or something, without having savior cover her, she's going to be in trouble. And again, she can't counterattack anyways, so she's a harder unit to use. Whereas Rhea, if you just gave her savior skill, she's going to do her role and do it immaculately well. I mean, she is the immaculate one. But yeah, Rhea has more BSD, is better for summoner duels, is really, really good at Ether Raids, scores really well, of course, because of the BST. And so I think Rhea is better than Myrrh. It's so hard. Medeus might be a more fair comparison, considering they're both two space-moving dragons who are not savior heroes, but still not great. The reason why I brought this up is because Rhea just came out, Medeus just came out. They're all within 1 month of each other. Rhea, Medeus, Myrrh. It's not a fair comparison, but if a person was coming out today and looking to build a hero, I would recommend Rhea and Medeus both over Myrrh. You only go for Myrrh if you're a whale who really, really wants to play in summoner duels and is scared of teleportation, for example. And we talked about teleportation. That's mostly Ashe. That's mostly Spring Sonya. There's not that many like super scary teleporters out there. It's a handful of heroes. There will be more in the future, but even if it's not fair, you look at it in terms of the 2 heroes that came before her and in such recent times. If people actually wanted a dragon, they probably picked one up already. I don't really value the flying dragon class. Like, why in particular would you want that? I don't see the advantages of it. Let's just go over Medeus and then talk about the summary. Medeus, 40 HP versus 40 HP, match. 44 attack versus 39 attack, 5 point advantage for Medeus. That's amazing. 18 speed versus 25 speed, 7 point advantage for Myrrh. But again, this is a hyper min-maxing of Medeus being more valuable, I would say. 38 defense versus 42 defense, 4 point advantage for Myrrh. And 43 res versus 36 res, 7 point advantage for Medeus. Medeus has 60% damage reduction really easily with just 1 healer on his team, whereas Myrrh needs to out-res her opponents, and even then she only hits 58%. 2% is not a big difference, so don't lose your minds there. But when you look at damage reduction, Medeus does win, and when you look at the unique function, Medeus comes with cancel control, which I would value more than teleportation, not like wiping out teleportation. And I also value his ability to take away, say, bolt tower damage, fury damage. Those things are really, really good in teams for summoner duels. So I think Medeus is more unique in what he offers, a better tank as a whole with less support and less conditions. He's also really scary and he can also double. And he's a really good hero for Ether Raids defense and summoner. Basically, when looking at Medeus and Rhea, you take Myrrh if you like Myrrh more, or you need scoring. Because outside of that, these other 2 are just way better, I would say. Healer or dragon. Yes, it's not just healer, but you could run, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. You could run like Rhea, Medeus, Myrrh all together, and you would be a very annoying hero, team to kill because you have a bunch of tanky, bulky units. You have damage reduction, you have cancel control, you have warping control. You don't have to worry about chip damage anymore. Like, there's a lot of things that combination would be really, really good at. But you have your base, you don't have like a much offensive pressure in that kind of team. I don't know, we can talk about comps later on, but anyways, to summarize, if you guys have to rate Myrrh out of 10, how would you rate her? I'll be frank with you. I think she's amazing. I think she's great. I think when it comes to flying dragons, she might be the most complete package we've gotten thus far, right? Good dual phaser, difficult to kill, unique ability with the warp control. She definitely at bare minimum kill gatekeeper. These are good attributes. However, the meta is not really favoring flying dragons or flying tanks at this point. And it's not like we haven't gotten really good ones in the past, right? Like Legendary Claude, for example, is a really good one. So if you really wanted one, you probably have the Claudes, one or two of the Claudes. Halloween Grima, the flying one, of course. Legendary Grima got pretty good at it as well. Like, there were other options prior to Myrrh, and while I do think she's overall better, it's just like, I don't know. It's a hard sell at this point. But the good news, is, of course, is her banner is good, so you wouldn't feel bad going for her. Anyways, Dex is 8 out of 10 or so. I would say 8.5? I think it's 8.5 out of 10. I think they min-max her really well. I think they developed her as well as they could. It's just the meta's not there for her right now. Again, I really think if they released Myrrh a year ago, we'd be having very different discussions, and she'd be one of the most dominant heroes in the game. But alas, you know, Harmonic Myrrh was here for a year, since March. There's just no point in it anymore. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, follow, all those nice things. This is a quick look at Myrrh. I appreciate her. She's cute at least. And I like the new artist.